Good evening. I am Mark Ivy. Welcome to the latest edition of Kernels from the Cornfield. No husk, no hulls, no shucks. News with a dash of commentary to spice up your daily fare for Tuesday, April 15th, 2014. We remember Boston. Tranquility, that sense of peaceful existence, was shattered 1 year ago today as twin bombs exploded during the Boston Marathon. Although 1,000 miles away, the blast shook from the Atlantic coast into the cornfield and reverberated westward to the Pacific Ocean. Boston has shown the way this past year, proving to be strong. We are Americans. From the cornfield, while our hearts knit with the hearts of those victimized and the families who lost loved ones, we pledge to ever remain strong and stand tall, confident that justice will be done. Be the foe domestic or foreign, when a tragedy such as struck Boston and our nation 1 year ago today, let those responsible for such acts, past or to come, be warned that justice will be exacted and the day of reckoning will come when least expected. The Ukraine crisis. Will Russian troops roll in under cover of night now that the Ukrainian military is taking an offensive posture and reclaiming what rightfully belongs to Ukraine? Will Putin use the excuse that he's protecting those of Russian descent from ethnic cleansing, or because the people asked for Russia to intervene? There's little to nothing that the U.S. of A. can actually do. Apply a few more economic sanctions, which have little impact, bar a few more Russians from visas. Problem is, Putin doesn't care. Putin is interested in domination and control. Putin will push as far as the West allows him to push. He knows that President Barack Obama is powerless against him. He knows that European leaders are too worried about losing energy and money to stand in his lane. The Ukraine is the David to its Goliath neighbor. Ukrainians, sadly, do not even have the benefit of a slingshot and a few smooth stones. Malaysia Flight 370. The depth, the immensity, the unknown are all the latest roadblocks in unraveling the mystery which is Malaysia Flight 370. An unmanned submersible, the Bluefin 21, had to turn back hours early in its mission Monday, scouring the floor of the Indian Ocean for the missing plane, when the depth became too much for the automated hatcher. Turns out we have more knowledge of the surface of the moon than we do of this remote location, the Indian Ocean. Our knowledge of the terrain and depth is sorely lacking, as the ocean's floor has not been mapped or explored before. The tax man cometh. If you haven't finished filing your income taxes yet, you're running out of time. A postmark of midnight is necessary to avoid a penalty. Next year will be even more chaotic as the Affordable Care Act's full tax provision rolls out. See how many people still like the ACA when their refund is noticeably smaller, or they learn they owe Uncle Sam money, many for the first time ever. The winter that refuses to end. We all thought that spring had finally sprung. Much of the heartland, and now rushing toward the Atlantic coast, found out that the winter of 2013-2014 refuses to go quietly into that dark night. Snow, hail, freezing rain, bone-chilling winds raced through the interior yesterday and overnight. Today, the storm system has its sights on the seaboard. Perhaps we will all get an Easter surprise Sunday. Perhaps spring will show in all its finery in celebration of the resurrection, the new birth. That's what caught my attention on this Tuesday, April 15th, 2014. Tune in tomorrow for another episode of Kernels from the Cornfield. I'm Mark Ivy. Good evening.